Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, August 2nd, 2021. Today I'm going to go over the weekend's Major League Baseball results and look ahead to today's games. Major League Soccer. We'll talk about Gold Cup, Olympics, news and notes, NBA free agency, MLB trade deadline has come and gone, and then my best bet of the day. All right, I'm going to try to be quick here with the sports because there's a lot of stuff to get into with the trade deadline passing and free agency approaching in Major League Baseball and NBA respectively. MLB will go over the results from yesterday's games and look ahead to today, or just like the weekend, not just yesterday. All right, Friday, Yanks over the Marlins 3-1, Nats over the Cubs 4-3, Pirates over the Phils 7-0, Jays over the Royals 6-4, Orioles over the Tigers 4-3, Rays over the Sox 7-3. Reds over the Mets 6-2, Brewers over the Braves 9-5, Mariners over the Rangers 9-5, White Sox over the Indians 6-4, Cardinals over the Twins 5-0, A's over the Angels 2-0, D-backs over the Dodgers 6-5 and 10, Astros over the Giants 9-6, Rockies over the Padres 9-4. Saturday, Blue Jays over the Royals 4-0, Giants over the Astros 8-6, Angels over the A's 1-0, Orioles over the Tigers 5-2, Rays over the Red Sox 9-5. Yankees over the Marlins 4-2, Cubs over the Nationals 6-3, Pirates over the Phillies 3-2, Rangers over the Mariners 5-4 and 10 on a walk-off home run by Jonah Heim. Indians over the White Sox 12-11, Twins over the Cardinals 8-1, Braves over the Brewers 8-1, Dodgers over the D-backs 8-3, Rockies over the Padres 5-3. Sunday, Yanks over the Marlins 3-1. Yanks 56-48. Miami 44-61. Nats over the Cubs 6-5. Nats 49-56. Chicago 51-56. Phillies over the Pirates 15-4. Philly 52-53. Pittsburgh 40-65. Blue Jays over the Royals 5-1. Blue Jays 54-48. The Royals 45-59. Tigers over the Orioles 6-2. Tigers 51-57. Baltimore 31-67. Or 37-67. Reds over the Mets 7-1. The Reds 56-50. Mets 55-49. Brewers over the Braves 2-1. The Brewers 63-43. Atlanta 52-54. White Sox over the Indians 2-1. White Sox 62-44. Cleveland 51-51. Cardinals over the Twins 7-3. Cardinals 53-52. Minnesota 44-62. Rangers over the Mariners 4-3 on a walk-off homer by Jonah Heim for the second day in a row. The Rangers 38-67. Seattle 56-50. Giants over the Astros 5-3. San Fran 66-39. Houston 64-42. Angels over the A's 8-3. Angels, or the other way around. A's over the Angels. A's 60-47. Angels 52-53. Padres over the Rockies 8-1. Padres 61-47. Colorado 46-60. Dodgers over the D-backs 13-0. Dodgers 64-43. Arizona 33-73. And the Rays over the Red Sox 3-2 to complete the sweep. And is now in first place in the American League East, 64-42. Boston 63-44. Not many games tonight. 7 o'clock. Or I'm sorry, we have a matinee 3 o'clock. Indians, Blue Jays. Eli Morgan and Robbie Ray from Cleveland. I assume Toronto's favored in this game. Minus 270, Cleveland's plus 220, over under 9.5, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Indians plus 1.5 is plus 125. Blue Jays minus 1.5 is minus 150. Tough one, but I'm going to go with the over 9.5 at minus 102. I think that the Blue Jays offense gets going. 7 o'clock, ESPN, Phillies Nationals. Ranger Suarez and Josiah Gray. So Josiah Gray making his Nationals debut. So this should be a good one. Phillies minus 118. Nats even money, over under 8.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 138. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 166. I'm going to go with the Nats. I like Josiah Gray. New team. I know pressure's on because he was the guy that got, or one of the guys they got for Max Scherzer. I can see the Nats winning this game. Plus 100. Why not? Orioles, Yankees. Jorge Lopez and Andrew Heaney. So Andrew Heaney making his Yankees debut. Yankees minus 270. Baltimore plus 220. Over under 10. Minus 110 each way. Baltimore plus 1.5 is plus 118. Yanks minus 1.5 is minus 142. I'm going over 10 minus 110. Yankees might do that by themselves, guys. Especially against Jorge Lopez. Mets, Marlins. Tyler McGill, and we don't know who's going for Miami. Line's not up yet. I assume the Mets will be favored. But if the total is anything less than 9, I'm taking the over. Oh, wait, it just popped up. I'm taking over 7.5, minus 116 is the play. But the under's minus 114. Mets are minus 146. Marlins plus 124. Mets minus 1.5 is plus 120. Marlins plus 1.5 is minus 144. I just said I'm taking the over. That's very low. Mariners, Rays. Chris Flexen and Michael Wacha. Rays minus 196. Mariners plus 164. Over under 9. Overs minus 112. Unders minus 108. Mariners plus 1.5 is minus 126. Rays minus 1.5 is plus 105. The Rays offense is better with Nelson Cruz in the lineup. But I still like the under. I think that's a high number. I think Michael Wacha is going to have a good second half for the Rays. Chris Flexen's been pretty good for Seattle. So I'm going to go under 9 minus 108 as the pick here. 8 o'clock, Angels, Rangers. Leonardo is going for LA and Dane Dunning is going for Texas. Angels minus 132, Texas plus 112. Total and run lines are not out yet, but I like Texas in the spot. Looks like they are playing well right now. A couple walk-offs. Why not? Pirates, Brewers. Bryce Wilson making his Pirates debut against Eric Lauer. So Wilson came back in the Richard Rodriguez deal. Now he's making his debut for Pittsburgh. Lauer and the Brewers are minus 225. The Pirates are plus 188. Over under 9. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. The run line plus and minus 1.5 respectively is each minus 110. I'm going under 9 minus 104. Eric Lauer hasn't been that bad. Bryce Wilson I could see pitching well with a new team. Maybe a little rejuvenation. So I'm going to go under 9 minus 104. And at 9:30 you have the Giants and the D-backs. Anthony DeSclafani and Taylor Widener. Giants minus 190. D-backs plus 160 over under 9.5. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. Giants minus 1.5 is minus 122. D-backs plus 1.5 is plus 102. This is tough. I could see the Giants putting up a good show offensively a little bit. So I'm going to go over 9.5 minus 104, but do I feel good about it? Not at all. Okay, now we will do Major League Soccer, as we will go over those results from the weekend. There are no games on Friday. Oh, no, there were games on Friday. That's my mistake. I stand corrected here. NYCFC over Columbus 4-1. Orlando over Atlanta 3-2. LA Galaxy over Portland 4-1. Saturday was a big window. San Jose over Seattle 1-0. New England over New York 3-2. Red Bulls. Cincinnati, DC United 0-0 draw. Miami over Club Football Montreal 2-1. Houston and Salt Lake 0-0 draw. Dallas over Kansas City 2-1. Colorado over Austin 1-0. And Vancouver and Minnesota in a 2-2 draw. Sunday, 2 games. Philadelphia and Chicago 1-1 draw. Toronto and Nashville 1-1 draw. So we won't have MLS again until Wednesday, August 4th. So we'll get to that on that podcast. Now I'm going to do a recap on the Concacaf Gold Cup final, which was last night. And U.S. came out on top 1-0 in extra time to win the Gold Cup on a goal by Miles Robinson in the 117th minute. what a win for Team USA. Really, really neat accomplishment. I think USMNT is on the come here with their upset over Mexico in this, and they should be very proud of themselves here. So congrats to Team USA. And I really wish that soccer for men's was still in the Olympics, but that's just not the case for whatever reason. All right, speaking of the Olympics, we'll get into that now. We will jump into all the Olympic action from the weekend. We'll start with day 8, which was Friday. We're just going to go through notable things that went on. Men's individual archery getting the gold was Meet Gazoz and silver Moro Nespoli. And then the bronze went to Takaharu Furukawa from Japan. And then Gazoz was from Turkey and Nespoli, Italy. Badminton doubles completed. Getting the goal was Li Yang and Wang Chilin of Chinese Taipei. And getting the silver was Li Junhui and Liu Yuchen of China. And getting the bronze was Aaron Chia and Sui Yik of Malaysia. Baseball is done for the opening round. So Friday, U.S. over Israel 8-1. Group B, and in Group A, Japan over Mexico 7-4. And then Saturday, Group B, U.S. over South Korea 4-2. And in round 1, Saturday, Israel over Mexico 12-5, and yesterday, South Korea over Dominican Republic 4-3. Round 2 today, yesterday, South Korea over Israel 11-1, and then today, Japan over the United States 7-6. And tomorrow at 6 a.m., round 1 rep change, Israel and Dominican Republic are going off there. I like Israel. I think they're in a good flow right now, so I'm going to go with Israel in tomorrow morning's game against the DR. Basketball prelims are done. We'll do it the men's first. Friday, France over Iran, 79-62. That's Group A. Group B, Saturday, Italy over Nigeria, 80-71. Group B, Australia over Germany, 89-76. Group A, USA over Czech Republic, 119-84. So U.S. to the quarters. Group C, Argentina over Japan, 97-77. And Slovenia over Spain, 95-87. And Luka Doncic is on Slovenia, so gotta look out for the Slovenians. The quarterfinals, tonight at 9 o'clock, you have Slovenia and Germany. I think Luka Doncic is on a mission. I really, really love Slovenia tomorrow against Germany, or tonight, I should say. And then tonight, 12:40 a.m., Spain and the United States. I think U.S. will come through. I think Kevin Durant will show up. And I think they'll win. So I'm going to go with the United States. And then 4:20 a.m. Eastern tomorrow morning, Italy and France. I like that French team a little bit. They have some guys I like. Nick Batum, Rudy Gobert, Evan Fournier. Italy has some good guys too. Gallinari's on there. But I think that Rudy Gobert and his defense will be in fruition with the French team. So we go French to the semis, and then 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, Australia and Argentina. I'm going to go with Australia. I think they're better. Matt Dellavedova's been in the finals before. Joe Ingles was on a contender in Utah. Patty Mills has some rings, or a ring, I should say. Dante Exum's not a bad player. Josh Green's a young player that's played in the playoffs for Dallas. Aaron Baines is a solid big man. So I'm going to go with Australia tomorrow against Argentina. Now on the women's side, the prelims are done. Friday, Group B, U.S. over Japan, 86-79. Group B, France over Nigeria, 87-62. Group C, China over Australia, 76-74. Saturday, Group A, Spain over Canada, 76-66. Group A, yesterday, Serbia over South Korea, 65-61. Group B, Japan over Nigeria, 102-83. And then this morning, U.S. over France, 93-82. That's Group B. China over Belgium, 74-62 in Group C. And Australia over Puerto Rico, 96-69, which was today in Group C. The quarterfinals will begin tomorrow night. And obviously, we will preview and predict that on the podcast tomorrow. The women's 3-meter springboard completed. That was the semifinal. Or no, that was the final was the other day. Getting the gold was Ji Tongmio of China. Getting the silver was Wang Han of China. And getting the bronze was Krista Palmer of U.S. So the women's vault for gymnastics completed. Getting the gold was Rebecca Andrade of Brazil. Getting the silver was Michaela Skinner of U.S. And getting the bronze was Yeo So-jung of South Korea. The women's floor, getting the gold was Jade Carey. Getting the silver was Vanessa Ferrari. And getting the bronze was Mai Mukamari of Japan. And obviously Ferrari of Italy and Carey of U.S. And then what was I going to say here? There's more to come, obviously. Tonight and tomorrow. There's talk that Simone Biles is going to participate in a couple of these events, which is huge for Team USA. And day 11 technically begins tonight, like overnight, and it's the balance beam finals tomorrow at 4:50 a.m. Men's parallel bars and horizontal bar tomorrow. Women's duets is tomorrow morning in the swimming. Baseball, round 1, Reed Frazier talked about. We got into the basketball stuff already. So we're pretty much good here for the Olympics in terms of those sports. I want to try to find golf now. Here we go. Getting the gold medal with a score of 15 under. Xander Schauffele. Getting the silver at 17 under. Rory Savaltini. Getting the bronze at 15 under. Cheng Sung Pong. And there's a tie for that place with 15 under, but they had to go through a playoff for the bronze. The rest of it was Colin Mariqua, Mito Pereira, Rory McIlroy, Sebastian Munoz, Hideki Matsuyama, Paul Casey that were in that tie with Pon for the bronze. Tennis getting the gold in 2 sets. Alexander Zverev over Karen Khachanov. And getting the bronze was Pablo Carreño Busta over Novak Djokovic. And then getting the gold on the women's side was Belinda Bencic over Marketa Vondrousova in 3 sets. So Vondrousova gets the silver. And getting the bronze was Alina Svitolina over Elena Rabienka in 3 sets. And obviously, Bencic and Vondrousova went into 3 sets as well. So, tennis and golf done for the Olympics. Just wanted to recap that for a moment. And now we'll get into news and notes. A lot of stuff to get into. Devontae Smith has a knee sprain. Is the Eagles' first-round receiver is expected to miss a couple of weeks with a minor injury. That is not good for Philly. They traded up for that guy and tried to intentionally spook the Giants. But if that guy is going to be injury-prone, boy, Philadelphia fans are going to lose it. One more Olympic result I didn't get to is that USWNT lost 1-0 to Canada in soccer, which is not good. They lost 1-0 in the semifinals to Canada, and then Sweden beat Australia 1-0. So the final is going to be Sweden against Canada, and then U.S. is going to have to play for bronze against Australia. So, Megan Rapinoe called that defeat terrible. She's right. She's absolutely right. The New York Giants re-signed Alfred Morris, and they also signed linebacker Todd Davis. And Shane Lemieux is out 2 weeks after sustaining a knee injury in practice. NBA free agency stuff will save. So Biles is going to be back for the balance beam. We talked about the Olympic stuff. So Kirk Cousins is on the COVID list. So the Vikings quarterbacks had a little bit of a COVID outbreak. Kellen Mond and Nate Staley are on the COVID-19 list as well. And Mike Zimmer was just very disappointed, and I don't blame him. He said that's why people should get vaccinated. But what if they are vaccinated? Like, they could very well be. So, the Delta variant obviously is a big deal right now, and that's why cases are up. So, I don't blame Zimmer for his frustrations. Let's just hope that Kirk Cousins is okay and the backups are okay. Nick Chubb, 3-year, $36.6 million contract extension, $20 million guaranteed. I think that is really, really interesting of a contract. Well deserved. And I think it was a smart move by the Browns. And now all eyes lay in East Rutherford with the Giants and Saquon Barkley. See how much that contract is. Aaron Rodgers says he's 100% all in. As he says, it's the best feeling being back with the team after an offseason standoff. So, did he make up with the Packers? Or is he just happy he's on a one-year deal and he can flee after the season? That's to be determined. This is an interesting story in the NHL. The league rejected Philip Grubauer's contract with the Seattle Kraken, but the team is working to restructure it because the contract violated the NHL's requirements. So we're going to see like how this contract is redone, if Grubauer will stay a Seattle Kraken or not, but this is a huge deal. Speaking of goalies, Marc-Andre Fleury will play with the Blackhawks after there's speculation that he may retire, as he informs the team he intends to play the upcoming season in Chicago. So that is really good for the Blackhawks as they try to get back into the mix here in contention. Jack Eichel's agent blasts the Sabres. The process is not working in terms of the team's management of the neck injury. So David Krejci to play home in Czech Republic, as he announces that he's moving home to be with his family. He says, "I'll always bleed black and gold." The Mets and their first-round pick, Kumaraker, could not make a deal. And he won't return to Vanderbilt either, so he's just going to work out for the 2022 draft, as the Mets will get the 11th pick. And Steve Cohen subtweeted about the situation, as Steve Cohen says that the club avoided a bad investment by not signing Rocker to his rookie deal. Riley Moore tore his ACL in training camp on Saturday, so that is not good news for the Titans. Carson Wentz doesn't prefer surgery for his foot injury instead of getting immediate surgery, so he plans on just resting the foot. We'll see how that goes. Olabisi Johnson tore his ACL in practice on Friday, so that's a loss for the Vikings depth. Frank Ntilikina to become a free agent from the Knicks. We'll get more into NBA free agency in a moment. The NHL is investigating Evander Kane after his wife Anna alleged that he gambled on his own games. And Evander Kane denies the allegation. Fernando Tatis heads to the injured list with a left shoulder inflammation. Tyler Glasnow is getting Tommy John surgery next week, so that is a big loss for the Rays over the next year and a half. And Corey Seager's off the injured list with the right hand injury. Jacob deGrom suffered a setback in his right arm, and the team's hopeful for a 2022 return. No knee procedure for Giannis Antetokounmpo on his hyperextended left knee. And Las Vegas is Alex Tuck out 6 months with shoulder surgery. So that's a big loss for Vegas. All right, now we're going to do NBA free agency, which begins today at 6 o'clock in the evening. I might have a special podcast to recap the signings tonight. We'll see. I'd like to have a guest on at some point this week to do this, and I'll do the same for the NHL. And I'll do the same for the Major League Baseball trade deadlines. This has been an absolute crazy week. So we talked about Ntilikina becoming a free agent. The Knicks want a Melo reunion as they've made their intentions clear to bring him back to New York. I think Melo might end up with the Lakers. That's what the hot rumor is right now, that he wants to be with LeBron. And I don't blame Melo for wanting to go to the Lakers, because that's the team to beat in the West right now with LeBron, AD, and Westbrook. I mean, everybody loves Golden State, but Klay Thompson hasn't played in 3 years, and everybody's acting like he's James Harden. Like, I get it. Like, Klay Thompson, like, isn't on that level of James Harden. He's, like, a notch below. I know he'll be awesome, but, like, I wouldn't pencil them in an NBA title contention unless they made, like, a monster trade. Zach LaVine seeks respect in deal as he wants an extension with the Bulls. Kawhi Leonard is opting out, and he's a free agent, but is expected to stay with the Clippers. And he will listen to other teams, which is very interesting. Chris Paul to be a free agent, but there is some rumblings that there's a deal done with him and the Suns already. Other players to be free agents, Zach Collins and Malik Monk. The Warriors are linked to Andre Iguodala. We'll see if they bring him back. That would be a good veteran add for them. Although I would like him on the Lakers. That would be a great addition for the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, the Lakers should really go after him. The Clippers hope to resign Nick Batum, as he's getting interest from Miami, Golden State, Indiana. The Heat are eyeing a sign-and-trade for Kyle Lowry, as they would use Goran Dragic in that deal with maybe Precious Achiuwa, or maybe like Duncan Robinson's in the sign-and-trade as well. Serge Ibaka picked up his option. Evan Fournier wants 4 for $80, but the Celtics don't want to pay him that much. Boston acquires Josh Richardson from the Mavericks. Josh Richardson, to me, was a one-year wonder, and he just got respect because of that great run he had in Miami. He's just a pass-around guy at this point in his career. That trade tells me that they're not bringing back Evan Fournier. Golden State Warriors, big trade very unlikely, as Joe Lacob does not expect the Warriors to make any major trade amid Ben Simmons, Bradley Beal rumors. Tristan Thompson got traded to Sacramento in a 3-team deal with the Hawks. The Lakers nearly got Buddy Hield, as they were close to the finish line on a deal for the Kings guard before completing the trade for Westbrook. I think Westbrook probably is a better fit with the Lakers than Buddy Hield, although Buddy Hield would have been great there too. Although there's still a chance that he gets traded there, maybe like Caruso in a sign-and-trade potentially. But that's my mistake. Tristan Thompson got dealt to Atlanta, not Sacramento. So the Jazz made that Derek Favors deal the other night, and they'll be pressing hard to bring back Mike Conley. $3 or $75 million is like the talk here. The Knicks pick up Mitchell Robinson's option. So we'll see what the Knicks do. And we'll just get right into free agency here. Bleacher Report has their big board out. There's a lot of big names available. This is going to be a fun day today and tomorrow. A lot of teams are going to look different for good and for bad. And without further ado, here's the Bleacher Report top 30. So number 1's Kawhi Leonard, no doubt about it. Player option. Back to the Clippers probably is the case. You know that teams like Miami and dare I say the Lakers are going to be calling. Philly, Knicks, I could see making phone calls. Dallas, obviously, is the other big one that has cap space. But ultimately, I do think he goes back to LA. Chris Paul, I think it's done that he goes back to the Suns. John Collins is restricted. People seem to think that he's going to go back to the Hawks. To me, the interesting one that can move is Lonzo Ball. I saw somebody throw out for fun a Charlotte sign and trade with Terry Rozier involved. So you could have the Ball brothers playing together. A lot of people think he's going to end up on the Bulls because I think his father wants him in the big market. You haven't heard much about the Knicks going after him, which is interesting. Maybe the Knicks don't want his father around. And don't want like a Lakers situation when he was with the Lakers. Like him being the drama addict he is. I'm talking about LeVar. But LeVar's been better. You know why LeVar's been better? Because his sons are playing in smaller markets. And there's not pressure on either. I mean, there's going to be pressure on LaMelo because he's the best guy on that team for now. But Lonzo, there wasn't pressure on him in New Orleans because of the presence of Zion. So we'll see where Lonzo lands. DeMar DeRozan, people are linking the Knicks to him. DeMar, obviously a veteran, been in a lot of big games in his life with the Raptors and the Spurs. We'll see where he ends up. Mitchell Robinson, obviously, is back with the Knicks. They picked up his option. Jared Allen, restricted. Unless he go back to Cleveland. Kyle Lowry, he should be higher on this list. Because he's Kyle Lowry. And he's awesome. Looks like the Heat are the front runners for him, although I wouldn't rule out Philly in like a potential sign and trade with him and Pascal Siakam for Tobias Harris and Ben Simmons. I think that is a very fair deal for both sides. Ben Simmons gets a fresh start, and then Joel Embiid has two new teammates that I think could help him that both are NBA champions. Mike Conley, we talked about. It looks like he's going to go back to the Jazz. Reggie Jackson's going to get paid after his hot run with the Clippers. Evan Fournier is a potential Knicks target. The Knicks have $52 million in cap room. I think they should potentially trade for a star. Use their young assets in the cap room to go out and trade for a Damian Lillard type. But I don't know if the Knicks want to do that right now. Because they probably think that it was a weird season and they probably thought they were going to be worse than they were last year. So we'll see about that. Rashawn Holmes is a good player. I think he's going to get a nice deal somewhere. Kelly Olynyk, I think, may come cheap for somebody as a reserve. Danny Green, I think, could potentially be back with the Lakers. Tim Hardaway Jr., they're talking about him going to the Knicks. That'd be his third stint with the Knicks, amazingly enough. And that contract that they gave him a couple years ago was just awful. And then they had to salary dump him with Porzingis in that trade a couple years ago. Talen Horton-Tucker's restricted. I think he could be back with the Lakers. Duncan Robinson, I think, will be back with Miami. Norman Powell, we'll see where he lands. Devontae Graham, I do not think he'll be back with Charlotte. Spencer Dinwiddie's interesting coming off the ACL injury, but I don't think he's going to be that great coming off the injury. Lauri Markkanen is restricted. I think the Bulls move on from him. Well, who's the team for him? Nick Batum, I think that he'll end up on a contender. That's a Lakers possibility, I think. Derrick Rose, great season with the Knicks. I won't be shocked if New York brings him back. Dennis Schroeder, obviously a solid point guard. We'll see where he lands. Blake Griffin had a nice impact for Brooklyn this past season. Maybe that's a Laker. Serge Ibaka picked up his option. Kelly Oubre. I I don't love Kelly Oubre. But he's somebody that could help someone. I think that's a Knicks potential guy that they can get potentially for cheaper than you think. Patty Mills, we'll see about Patty Mills. I think he'll probably be back in San Antonio. Montrezl Harrell, obviously he was in the Westbrook deal, so he's off the board. Andre Drummond, he's not somebody I really love. Maybe he's back with the Lakers after going there as a buyout guy. All right, so that's it for NBA free agency. Now we're gonna do baseball deadline. That was a very wild trade deadline. I'm gonna go to Bleacher Report again and talk about all the trades because they have them all. There's some teams I was a little disappointed in, some teams that exceeded expectations. So here we go. So Atlanta got Richard Rodriguez. We talked about that from Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh got back in return Bryce Wilson and Ricky DeVito. Love the pickup for Atlanta. They needed help in their bullpen. I think that Atlanta can get back from the NL East mix. Even without Ronald Acuna Jr., that division is so weak. And I like that Atlanta went for it a little bit. They have a lot of talent, and what I think is probably one of the more overrated divisions in all of baseball. I think Atlanta can get back in this. And the Mets, we'll get into them in a moment, what they did. But I really like that pickup for Atlanta. And I also like them getting Jorge Soler to replace Acuna for the season. So Soler, obviously, a great power hitter. He makes that lineup better. And going back to the Royals was Casey College. So I think Atlanta got themselves a steal here. Although Bryce Wilson, a promising young arm they gave up for Rodriguez. Although Rodriguez is a good reliever. So good day for Atlanta. The San Francisco Giants got Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs for Alexander Canario and Caleb Colon. I think that's amazing that the Giants got him without giving up one of their better prospects. I think that is amazing. And Chicago, I'm sorry, they could have done better for Chris Bryant. They could have done better. Like, they talked about Joey Bart. And that would have been great for the Cubs. I guess they really like Miguel Amaya. Although, I like Miguel Amaya too, but not as much as I liked Joey Bart. And not as much as I liked Wilson Contreras. They love the deal for the Giants, hate it for the Cubs. So, Philadelphia got Kyle Gibson, Ian Kennedy, Hans Krause, and Cash. Texas, Spencer Howard, Kevin Gowdy, and Josh Gesner. I like the deal for both sides. Gibson's having a career year. I don't know if I like the match in Philadelphia, but he could work there. Ian Kennedy, not bad. Hans Krause, nice prospect. And then Spencer Howard going to Texas. We'll see if he regains his value a little bit with Texas. But I like it for both sides, only because Howard going back to Texas, I like that. The The Mets getting Javier Baez from the Cubs. Fabulous addition. He's going to play second base for them with Frankie Lindor playing shortstop. Trevor Williams also comes in that deal, so the Mets get themselves a back end of the rotation arm that could help them. And Pete Crow Armstrong is the Cubs' return. The Cubs got a nice return here. So it's 2 for 1, except the 2 are going to the Mets. I really, really like this for the Cubs, getting him as a return. And I think that the Mets really got to sign Baez. Although he says that he doesn't rule out going back to the Cubs, which would be wild. He's pulling an Aroldis Chapman there from several years ago. The White Sox getting Craig Kimbrell from the Cubs. Great add to their bullpen to be like the second fiddle to Liam Hendricks. And then the Cubs get Nick Madrigal and Cody Hewer. Love that return for the Cubs. So they get their second baseman of the future. And I really like Cody Hewer too. He's solid. So the Cubs, I thought, got excellent returns on Baez and Kimbrell, but not great on Bryant. And we're going to get to Anthony Rizzo in a moment. And Atlanta also got Adam Duvall. And in Miami got Alex Jackson. So 1 for 1. Duvall will help the Braves lineup. And then Alex Jackson will maybe change the scenery. Could help him. And they really, I guess, don't like Jorge Alfaro. And Atlanta also got Eddie Rosario, as well as cash. And Cleveland got Pablo Sandoval. I love it for Atlanta. He's going to help them a lot. So Atlanta literally remakes their outfield on the fly here to go for it, which I don't blame them. Like I said, the NL East is weak. The Mets, all they did was Baez and the Baez-Williams deals, and Rich Hill too, but I think the Mets could have done more. And the Phillies did some nice things, but nothing to me there really screams game changer. Maybe Baez for the Mets potentially, but Soler to me could be a potential game changer because he's somebody that's capable of getting hot. So we'll see about that. The Blue Jays get Jose Barrios from the Twins. I think that's an excellent pickup, as he'll be on the top of the rotation with Hyunjin Ryu and Robbie Ray. And in Minnesota gets a great haul back, Austin Martin and Semyon Woods Richardson. 2 excellent prospects from the Blue Jays. I love it for Minnie. Minnie got the best return in terms of a seller's return. Boston gets Kyle Schwarber to improve their offense, to try him out at first base. I like the deal for Boston. Don't really love it because of his suspect defense play and the fact that their rivals got Anthony Rizzo. And Washington gets back Aldo Ramirez in the deal. So Boston didn't give up much for Schwarber, but I think Schwarber will help them offensively, but his defense, to me, is suspect. The biggest one at the deadline, Max Scherzer and Trey Turner go to the Dodgers from the Nationals. That was a monster deal for that team. To me, that makes them the favorites to repeat as World Series champions. Getting Max Scherzer, who I think is going to be 2017 Verlander, and Trey Turner. Washington got a great haul back, though. Kyber Ruiz, Josiah Gray, Donovan Casey, and Gerardo Carrillo. I think getting Ruiz and Gray was amazing for Washington. I said that Minnesota had the best return. Washington had a great return, too, and you could argue that they had a better return than Minnie for those 2 guys. But I think Minnie's return was great for Barrios, because I don't think Berrios is as good as Scherzer. But this is Max Scherzer we're talking about, so you were expecting a big return for Max Scherzer. I'm sorry, you got to get a good return for them. So that's amazing. I think Washington great getting those two guys alone. The Yankees getting Anthony Rizzo from the Cubs with cash for Alexander Viziano and Kevin Alcantara. I think that is a great deal for the Yankees. So 9 and 12 were the ranked prospects for Rizzo. I think they could have done better than that. And I think that Rizzo is going to help that Yankees lineup immensely. He's an upgrade over Luke Voit at first base and for what they had this year. And he single-handedly swept the Marlins. Let's be honest. The Yankees probably get swept by the Marlins if it wasn't for Anthony Rizzo. I think he's fabulous as an addition. And the Dodgers getting Danny Duffy. I think it's a good back-end of rotation guy. Royals get player to be named later. Blue Jays get Brad Hand. I like that pickup with Kirby Yates out for the year with Tommy John surgery. Washington gets Riley Adams back in the deal. White Sox getting Cesar Hernandez. Cleveland gets Connor Plinkton. I like that deal for Chicago. Hernandez is a fast player. And he plays good defense. And we talked about Joey Gallo going to New York, along with Jolie Rodriguez. And Texas getting back Josh Smith, Ezekiel Duran, Trevor Hauver, and Glenn Otto. I think that Gallo's a great fit with New York with the left-handed swing for the Bronx. And I like Texas's haul back. I like Josh Smith a lot. And Duran isn't bad either. So that haul's not bad. And I think that Gallo and even Jolie Rodriguez, I think Rodriguez can help New York. He helped them yesterday. He pitched well for the Yankees yesterday. And then Joey Gallo, I think, is the bigger name here and will have the bigger impact, obviously. Alrighty, last but not least, my best bet of the day. Brought to you by FanDuel. Friday night's best bet was a winner with the over 7.5 between the Mariners and the Giants. I'm going to go full unit here with the Olympics. Team USA is playing great. That was just a fluke against France. I like... I'm debating on the laying the 12.5 with USA or going over in the points. I'm going to go over 180 minus 110 a full unit in USA versus Spain. I think 12.5 is a little high. I wish it was lower. So I'm going to go over 180 between Team USA and Spain for my best bet of the day. All right. I'll be back tomorrow recapping all the Olympic stuff, Major League Baseball. Maybe we'll have an activity for you on the show. Obviously, NBA free agency, I might do that podcast separately. That will be determined. Obviously, news and notes and my best bet of the day. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.